Live from my grandmother's basement, we are the only Chris Gethard Presents podcast. I am Emily Pineapple.
And I'm Forrest, the keeper of the canon.
And each week we profile the artist, filmmaker, comedian, whoever is going to be hosting that week's episode of CGP. And this week, we have another returning guest, a highly anticipated sequel to Fetch 1, the second episode of the series, right?
Yeah, Fetch was the second episode.
With Fetch 2.
Fetch 2.
In the first Fetch, of course, this is done by Keith Haskel, Banana Man, filmmaker extraordinaire.
And co-executive and supervising producer for the Chris Gethard Show.
And so the first Fetch, Keith fetched a cherry mash. That is correct?
Yes, it was a cherry mash for Hallie, not a big cherry. Not a big cherry. They're similar, but very distinct.
And this time, do we know what is going to be fetched?
No. We know some of the people who will be on the episode, but we don't know what they're fetching.
Excellent. So this is going to be airing on New Year's Day, the first day of 2020. We are starting off with Fetch. Can he fetch us a better political situation?
I think that might be beyond even Keith's fetching powers. Which, I mean, considering that the first Fetch, he didn't actually get to find the cherry mash. You know, we'll see how this goes this time.
Well, this time the cast will, of course, include Keith Haskel, our Banana Man. He also was the DI producer of Mike Birbiglia's The New One, his new comedy special on Netflix.
Yes.
And also the director of CGP's Elegance Hour.
Yeah.
With Rachel Pegram. An episode so wonderful it made me want to kiss my baby Siberian tiger directly on the tongue.
And, I mean, it also led to the rise of Gold Dip Day throughout the Discord.
The next person on the show we know is going to be Joe Firestone, who is a regular on TCGS and the special. She played the Constitutional Avenger on Gethard's 2016 election special, the special that shall not be named.
He also directed Comedy Amateur Class with our next cast member, Martin Urbano, who is Latino comedian, registered sex offender, and the host of CGP's Amateur Class, which has had 2 episodes so far, and actually is coming right up again soon. He is also a writer and performer on the newly launched National Lampoon's Radio Hour, where Joe Firestone is a senior writer. And by soon, I mean Martin Urbano's CGP episode is next week on the 8th. And then rounding it out is Rob Malone, the world's greatest dancer, who also filled a lot of crew positions on TCGS, including editor, camera operator, and more, and co-created the epic Cockcutter trilogy with Keith. Wow. I had forgotten about the Cockcutter trilogy. Every Halloween they recirculate the Cockcutter trilogy. Wow. Just wow. It was beautiful. I love it. It was one of my favorite things. Keith's bio from his website. Keith, I am a showrunner with a background in directing, shooting, writing, and editing. Comedy, Man on the Street, and social experiment productions are my jam. Jam is capitalized. Also, pet shows. Love me some pet shows. And I frequently wear a banana suit simply because it makes everything way more fun. Currently, I'm showrunning an unannounced project. I'm under a strict NDA or else I'd tell you more, and directing some episodes of Chris Gethard Presents. Previous gigs include serving as the in-house producer of Running Man Post. Running Man Post. There we go. Showrunning, directing, writing the 1990s Totally Scandalous Investigation Discovery / Lion TV, and co-executive producing The Chris Gethard Show. He also... executive producing, showrunning of Blissful Thinking, which was on Seriously.tv, Go90, and Hulu. Producing, editing, shooting Improv Everywhere videos. Producing Comedy Knockout on True TV, which was hosted by Sypha. And then field producing Triumph, the Insult Comic Dog's 2016 election special, and much, much more. And today, because this is his second episode, we will do the traditional thing that we do for return hosts.
Sypha did not host Comedy Knockout. He was just on it a lot.
I apologize. Well, I don't need to apologize.
I apologize for getting that wrong.
Yeah. Apologize.
He's been on it. I'll say that. He had another show.
Apologize.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone out there that I got that wrong, and especially to Sypha.
He's amazing, and he probably could have hosted it.
Oh, he absolutely could have.
But yeah, so we're going to be doing the traditional thing that we do for return hosts, which is 15 things on their social media that we love. Typically, we've been doing this for comedians because social media and the social media presence has been such a big part of comedians' careers lately, making or breaking them. In the case of Mr. Shane Gillis, I was extremely angry at an NPR thing. I was listening in the freaking car to NPR, and they're like, Saturday Night Live is once again immersed in controversy. They had, of course, the issue of hiring Shane Gillis, who they then fired for his inflammatory tweets and appearances on various podcasts, including his own. But of course, Saturday Night Live did a wonderful job hiring its first Asian cast member. This is why I'm not on NPR. Its first Asian cast member. Moving on. Blah, blah. They say the name of the shithead who they say is a shithead, but they do not say the name.
They don't say Bowen Yang's name?
They don't say Bowen Yang's name.
But Bowen is so much funnier.
Can you believe it? They're literally talking about how they mentioned like racism. They mentioned like the racism that Shane Gillis has committed, and then do not even take the time to name the Asian cast member.
That is ridiculous.
Isn't it fucking ridiculous?
Yeah, that's awful.
So I'm just gonna I was so mad. I'm still so mad. I don't know where I was going with this. I started this rant and I don't know where I was to start. Oh, you don't know where it's going?
Oh, let's start talking about Keith's social media then, because social media was your hook into that.
Oh, yeah, because it's so important for comedians. Of course, Keith is not a comedian. Keith is a filmmaker.
Right.
And producer and
writer and
showrunner.
Yeah.
And hilarious person. And yet his social media is still super fun. It's just not as, I think, the way that the comedians have to treat their social media is like it's a blog. Like it's a thing that could go viral and, make or break their careers. Whereas Keith doesn't have to worry about that.
No, he uses it differently, but still very well.
Yeah. And it's a lot. I mean, honestly, if he was a comedian, I don't think that his social media would be any different.
No, because a lot of it is calling attention to issues he thinks matter, showing off funny things that his kids have done, and then just being funny on it.
Yeah, just being a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
In the best possible way, in the way that we have come to expect and love. And yeah, there's no letdown from a man who came dressed in a banana costume and regularly films dogs shitting so that he can then reverse the shot so that their shit goes back up into their butts.
That was one of the greatest achievements in cinematic history, and Keith...
It was his stated goal as a filmmaker.
Yeah. Still says it's one of his greatest achievements ever.
I think it is. So the very first thing that we love is a Twitter post from... When was this posted, Forrest?
This was posted on November 18th, 2019.
So very close to Thanksgiving, and he honored the mighty turkey, by talking to a turkey.
I love it. I love this so much.
It's a video of him and a child, like a child who is not his child because they are too old. But him and a child, and he's just making turkey noises at these turkeys in a cage and like getting them to talk to him. And I can't really tell. Like I was listening to it, Forrest was watching it, and I couldn't tell the difference between him and the turkeys.
He's really good at doing turkey noises. Yeah.
I think that's not even very good.
No, his were better.
I need to get my turkey game.
You got to watch that video so you can master the art of turkey calls.
Yeah, my turkey game is not on.
And then, speaking of making noises, the next thing that he shared was Bethany and Keith's first outing with both of their kids. And their youngest is making a strange noise throughout it.
This was on November 10th, 2019.
Yes.
Shortly before the turkey calls. It perhaps inspired Keith to make those noises.
It's certainly possible. And then he asks Xander, their oldest kid, what they think of the noise. And then Xander just goes, ah!
He just starts crying.
Which is so good. And the timing is so perfect.
He turns around. He's like, wow, this is the most horrible noise I've ever heard, and there's nothing I can do about it. Xander, what do you think of Scout? And then just the second baby starts crying, and he just turns around with this oh no.
It's the closest I've come to understanding what it's like to be a parent.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It seems like a lot of fun if you have the appropriate attitude.
Yeah, no, if you have the appropriate attitude, the attitude that motivates you to wear a banana costume to things just because it makes it more fun, parenting seems great.
The third thing we want to highlight is from February 2nd, 2019, the Spirit of Spo trailer. He's known for doing his Spirit of videos where he just follows a comedian around.
And it was one of those, which was the most recent Spirit of Gethard, where we got the first hint that CGP would be happening at all, where Gethard teased that he might be coming back to public access.
And this is, of course, following Shannon O'Neill, who we learn in another video, his kids call her Auntie Shannon.
Yeah.
Isn't that adorable as shit?
It is super adorable.
But it's a really fun little trailer. It's them in the car, and they say it's going to come out in the spring, but I don't think it came out.
No, I don't think it's come out yet. I think the fetches and then having another kid might have taken priority over that, which is fair. You know, I hate to say that anything should take priority over a Spirit of video, but I feel like creating new human life is one of the few things that really should.
We get a great comment from Rob Malone of, "Whoa, what is this?" And Keith responding, "Did you not know I was filming our hangout sesh last week?" Rob, no, not cool. I think that the same thing happened during the dick cutter videos.
Oh, the cock cutters?
Cock cutters, yeah.
I mean,
I don't think Rob had any idea that it was being filmed. It was just a day in the life.
Oh, I feel very concerned for them then.
The next one we wanted to highlight is from May 31st, 2018. And this is an Instagram video.
This is a photo. No, it's a photo.
Oh, it's a photo.
Just the photo.
The previous one was a video on Instagram.
Yeah.
But this one is just a photo from May 31st, 2018. Xander, his oldest child, celebrating 11 months of life.
Who is one of the stars of the Spirit of Gethard 4. Because they're going to fetch the Christmas tree for him.
Yes. He's celebrating 11 months of life at the place that's responsible for his existence while it gets demolished.
It's just such a sweet photo that really illustrates, how important the Chris Gethard show has been and how temporary it was.
They were in the They were in the
True TV set as it was being demolished because the show was officially over and done.
Yep. And so it's just a cute baby amid destruction.
But it's a baby that only existed because they both worked on the Gethard show and met through the Gethard show. Bethany and Keith.
And we saw them fall in love. Well, we saw Keith fall in love with Bethany.
Oh, right. It was on the dance battle episode, right?
Yes. You can see him watching her dance, and he has this look on his face like, oh, shit. And then he tries to dance up on her, and he's not a good dancer. So she just kind of dances away from him. It's incredible. That is the moment that their romance began to blossom, at least on his side. I have decided.
Yeah, that's entirely Emily's inference, I should clarify. Another great thing from TCGS was the Matzah Challenge in the TCGS Writers Room on April 6th, 2018.
This is another Instagram video. And apparently the Matzah Challenge is you put some matzah on your head. Matzah is unleavened bread. It's a cracker. It's like a bland-ass cracker, and Jews eat it during Passover, which is like
our Easter, but different. It's like all about Moses leading us away from being slaves in Egypt. And the idea is that we had to run the fuck away and couldn't leaven our bread.
This is also an amazing feat because Keith begins the video like kneeling, standing on a table, and then with the matzah on his head.
Like a book, you know?
Yeah, completely not secured by anything, just balanced on his head. And he has to get off of down the table without disturbing the matzah and knocking it off of his head. And that matzah is still throughout this video. It's also really fun seeing Justin Linville sitting in a chair watching Keith do this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great. It makes me wish I could be in that writer's room.
Right? Wouldn't that have been fun? I heard that during the first show, there was just a phone in the writer's room and they would give out the number sometimes and fans would just call in.
Because that was on the Fusion one, right? Or was that? I think that was Fusion. Bryson mentioned it last week on the podcast. So if you want to hear it from a source who has a better memory, check out last week's episode because I'm not entirely sure either. I think it's Fusion.
That's incredible. Our next one is from October 13th, 2017. We're just going back in time. It's on Instagram, and it is Deerhoof's set list written on a banana. Who's Deerhoof? Are they
They're
of the
a band
bands?
that Keith really likes and did actually perform on the Gethard show. And they wrote the set on a banana and gave it to him, and so he kept the banana.
Until it rotted.
Yes.
I wonder if he still has it. Probably not.
No, unless he got
it
or got it like preserved in some other way, maybe.
Put it in like some formaldehyde.
Yeah, like I think to still have it would have to have been preserved because this was years ago.
Like 2 years ago.
That's a long time for a banana.
3 years ago. Our next one is just really the most fun and beautiful.
I love this one so much.
One of my favorites. This is from July 19th, 2016. Keith and Bethany's wedding getting written up in the New York Post. And why would their wedding get written up in the New York Post, you ask? Because they got married on the Staten Island Ferry and their reception was on the New York subway during rush hour.
I just love this so much. It's such so I think I saw this before I realized he was involved with Improv Everywhere, but this is the most like Improv Everywhere wedding I've ever seen, and I love it. It's just so perfectly them.
They do the Hava Nagila on the train car, so they're like holding on to the bars, like being lifted up. The Hava Nagila. I don't know why I'm explaining all these things. I mean, everyone's in fucking New York, and everyone's half Jewish in New York, like even if they're not Jewish, like they know all the things. Right?
That's what Gethard said it about New Jersey, but it would make sense.
Yeah, like fuck it. If you don't know, it's a dance Jews do where they lift you up on a chair after you get married and we're like, yay. I don't know why, because it's fucking fun.
Yeah, it's festive. You don't need a reason why.
You don't need a reason why.
And their wedding was on July 8th, 2016. And if you want to see it, they actually also cut a video of their wedding so you can see a bunch of it in action, and it's an adorable video you should absolutely check out.
Yeah, very, very cute.
And then the next thing doesn't have a date because it's more of an overall genre of Keith's tweets. It's all the times he calls attention to climate change because it's a big chunk of his Twitter feed. And it really deserves to be highlighted because I do like how much he uses his platform to like call out and draw attention to important issues. Even though he's mostly known for comedy. I mean, entirely known for comedy. It's just really cool that he does that.
I'm jealous of his ability to have such reckless joy and also be so like keyed in and aware of the imminent destruction of our planet. And then he keeps making like new humans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Can I have some of the joy?
I mean, I think it does help explain a lot of his videos because he's always very like intelligently silly, you know, like there's a cleverness behind how just like goofy it all is.
You think so?
I think
I mean,
so.
He's clearly clever.
No, but I think it's hard to be that successfully dumb in your videos. You know what I mean? Like I think
especially when you're a producer on other things like just animal videos and like, because when we went through his entire career last time, his resume's fucking
long.
Yeah, I mean, he has
worked
stuff on
for
Disney
real
Plus right now.
places. Yeah.
Like he's very good at production, but I mean, I think his videos, they're so silly, but the silliness is executed so well that I think that, I don't know. I think there's a cleverness there.
I think it is. And at least the cleverness of recording it and putting it up. I like that.
And knowing what silly jokes will work and
or
land.
not really caring.
And not caring.
I don't think he gives a shit what silly jokes will work.
That's true. I think
and
he
land.
just thinks it's funny.
Yeah,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It clearly lands for the people who he loves. I mean,
yeah.
I think that if he'd gone through life with literally everyone being like, that's dumb, I don't know that he would persist. But
I mean, I guess I'm thinking partially of the joke from Spirit of Ratliff where Connor is acting as if he's talking to CGI creatures who have been added in, except Keith didn't CGI in anything. So it's just Connor talking to like thin air and reacting to it. And then he also includes the conversation about how he's totally going to CGI in something and then winks at the camera.
It's beautiful.
And then Fetch had, of course, the reprise of the like response to that where Connor is like, you're not going to put anything in. And then he puts in the sandwiches that flip everything off.
Yep. It's pretty good. Our next one is Scatadoggle 2 from April 7th, 2019. And it's just a Twitter status stating emphatically that once again, Scatadoggle was his greatest achievement as a filmmaker. This cinematic masterpiece, of course, is the filming of a dog pooping and then reversing it so it looks like the poop is being sucked back up into the dog.
I mean, I think that's why cinema was invented, if we're being honest.
I know, right? Those motherfucking brothers with their train, they just couldn't
The Lumiere brothers?
Yeah, they couldn't get their hands on a dog.
I mean, for that audience, I'm glad that they didn't think there was giant poop on them then being sucked up by a dog.
Oh, man, they would be so scared.
They would be so scared, but then they'd be so relieved once it goes back into the dog that maybe that could have, like, given us all a new sense of empathy.
Wow. We could have, the entire history of film could have been changed in that moment had they the foresight that Keith Haskel had.
And then our next thing is from February 13th, 2019, where Keith and Bethany's oldest kid, Xander, is shown a poster of the Gethard Show lineup. It's actually the very poster we have here in our studio.
It's the True TV one.
It's the True TV one that was on a side of a building where Keith sits on the dumpster. And then
Keith doesn't sit on a dumpster.
Oh my gosh. Chris sits on a dumpster. The human fish reclines behind him. Keith is on the left side behind JD Amato. And then Hallie and the LLC are on each side in the background.
Like Horse and Bee and
Rob
Chef,
Malone is on the right side.
Yeah.
Chef Noodles is in front of Keith.
Murph is there.
Connor
Everybody's
has
there.
a microphone aimed at his head.
There's some people not there, but lots of people are there.
Yeah.
So he has them like, oh, like, where's Hallie?
Yeah.
Where's Auntie Spo?
Where's Murph?
Where is Daddy? Where is Mommy? And they keep asking, where's Chris? And he cannot figure out for the life of him where Chris is.
Xander gets everyone, but not Chris. Which makes me think he's Uncle Geth or something. But I just love the idea that even this little innocent baby is participating in the fandom's trolling of Gethard.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Our next one is from August 6th, 2018. He eulogized TCGS. This was after it was canceled by True. And he said he took a ride with the weirdest guy I knew, and it was the best ride of my life. We all took a ride with the weirdest guy we knew. We just didn't realize that there was a way weirder guy in the front seat with a camera.
It's Keith.
He said time for a new car after that too, which is very adorable.
And that new car turned out to be CGP.
Ha!
And then the next thing we're going to talk about is, it's not an individual tweet, it's a saga of tweets.
It spans from June 28th, 2018 to July 16th, 2018.
And it's all because Keith, on June 28th, lost his dongle.
And if any
a dongle
of us,
being like one of the things you plug into your computer,
it
like
connects
adapts
to things. It's an adapter. Everyone with an iPhone right now knows what a fucking dongle is because we can't put headphones into our fucking phones.
Yeah, it's what lets you use your old traditional headphones instead of the new innovative lightning adapters. Or USB-C adapters. That's why your iPad and your iPhone can't use the same cable. Anyway, Keith said the best part about losing his dongle was repeatedly saying the word dongle while looking for said dongle. And then there's just a tweet after tweet over that whole period just referencing losing his dongle. The search for his dongle.
Someone commented on one of them, like, can you describe your dongle? I think I saw it running down the street in New Jersey.
That was on July 9th, 2018.
Please say what actually was funny.
They
said,
said,
it was very funny.
So Keith said, still can't believe I lost my dongle. And then Vincent Iacano, I'm so sorry, Vincent. Vincent Iacano said, I'm here in North Carolina. I could have swore I just saw a dongle running down the road. Could you give a description?
Beautiful. It was probably Keith's dongle.
I mean, it's relatively close to New York.
And he never found the dongle.
No, on July 11th, it was starting to sink in that he'd never see his beloved dongle again. I lost her around June 26th, and now she's she's showing no signs of coming home to Papa.
Nope.
And she doesn't. It ends with a photo of a bunch of dongles, but not the dongle he's actually looking for. And so it really is, it's a tragic story that sums up the existential nature of modern life.
Yup. We're all just looking for our missing dongle.
And it never comes.
The next one is Baby Weight. February 1st, 2018, where he shows off on Twitter a workout routine he does with his eldest child, Xander. Xander's in like a baby swing with a handle on it, and he's doing curls.
Yes.
He's doing bicep curls with the baby, bringing him up and down, and the kid is so happy. He's giggling. He's the cutest motherfucking kid.
Yes.
Honestly. And my favorite part is when Keith says, I wish I was stronger. I could give you more joy.
I loved that part.
He brings him higher and lower. He's like, or if I was taller.
That was also Michael Dalton's favorite part because he responded to the tweet just saying, wish I was stronger. I'd give you more joy. Ha ha ha.
Yep. It's okay, Keith. I think that you will give him all the joy that he needs.
I mean, Xander definitely seemed to be getting quite a bit of joy from that.
Keith,
and just in general.
All of the joy that you cannot bring, you have fucking Bethany.
It's true.
She has a lot of joy packed in her.
Oh, yeah. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is a tweet from November 28th, 2017, where Keith said, flies are spies from another planet, which led Eric Slangenwhite to say, that's why I swat them sky raisins.
Sky raisins.
I want to see, I'd love a sketch expanding on this, just turning this into a premise of like an animated movie. Just flies as spies from outer space. I guess that's kind of Animorphs, actually. But they're slugs instead of flies. It would actually be way creepier if they were flies that crawled into your brain.
Animorphs as slugs crawling into your brain?
That's the reason they turn into Animorphs, is because there's an alien race called the Yeerks that have come to Earth that are slugs that crawl into your brain and then control you. And that's why it's like there's Invasion of the Body Snatchers vibes to Animorphs. And so the Andalites crash land on Earth and give the Animorphs the powers to shift into an animal.
So they crawl into human brains?
No, so they can stop the Yeerks from crawling into human brains.
Okay.
I'm not saying that logically follows as the counter power.
Look, I read her Everworld series, which is... Karen Applegate? Is that the person?
K.A. Applegate.
K.A. Applegate. She wrote an Everworld series in which a group of teenagers are sucked into an alternate reality in which all of the gods that have ever existed in the mythologies of man exist.
So the reason they can turn into animals is because they're a guerrilla force. So it's to keep their identity secret.
Oh.
So it's a bear fighting the Yeerks, not Rachel fighting the Yeerks. So because the Yeerks know who they are, they can then take out their families and find them and take them over.
Oh. That's pretty cool. I like that. She was like, Everworld is pretty fucking dark.
And so there's a species, the Andalites created the transformation technology.
There's
so
human sacrifice,
the Yeerks
cannibalism.
think they're all Andalites, and the Animorphs pretend they're all horse centaurs. Because the Andalites are like blue centaur aliens with no mouths and scorpion tails.
This woman
fucking nuts. Also, apparently a lot of people wrote those books. There may not have been an actual Kay
Animorphs?
Applegate. Yeah. It's one of those.
No, she's a real person.
I think so, but I'm not
she's a
sure
real
that
person.
she wrote all of her books.
Her name is Catherine Alice Applegate.
I think she wrote all of the Everworld books, though. I want to believe that because they were my favorite.
I think supposedly she and her husband wrote
Oh, cute.
Animorphs. She was the only one who got credit, but
She probably wrote
which makes me
most
think
of
he
it.
edited or like
Yeah.
it's the like and thanks to my wife
Yeah.
type of situation. And then the final great thing we're going to talk about is on July 2nd, 2019, when Keith answered some of our questions.
Which we didn't ask him any new questions, despite the fact that we easily could have.
And yeah, so
Nor were we present when he was in the fucking Discord.
Yeah, Keith, if you're listening, we're sorry. We wished you could have been there. Christmas sort of distracted us.
Look, there was just a lot of shit going on here.
We had a lot going on.
And I wish that
I
it
wish
hadn't, because that would have been a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, no, I wish I had been in the Discord when Keith was there, and I wish we could have asked him more questions. I mean, we still could.
Yeah, no, we have to think of what our questions are now.
But we're not going to have them done before recording time because we're recording right now.
But say the answers. Say the answers. Our first question was, what are your influences?
And he said, in no particular order, Tim and Eric for editing and comedy, The Tom Green Show, Mr. Bean, Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Ali G Show, Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead, Nathan for You, Delocated / John Glazer, who you also may know as Councilman Jam from Parks and Recreation. And then editing was an MTV show called Scarred.
I have a question. The Ren and Stimpy guy turned out to be terrible, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of terrible?
Like, it's a downer. You want to get into this?
Is it, do we need to do a trigger warning?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Do we need to do a trigger warning for sexual assault?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, no. I don't
know.
Talk about it.
I don't know.
Okay, well, he's terrible.
Okay, so just quickly, trigger warning. I'm not going to get into details.
Trigger warning, nothing graphic, because I don't want to get fucking triggered.
It's not going to be anything graphic. He, he groomed... He allegedly groomed young women who were cartoonists.
That's way worse than I thought. I thought he was just going to be like super racist or something.
No. That was why...
I mean, not that being super racist isn't bad, but...
No, but it's a different trigger thing. You know, so that's why that trigger was necessary. We should probably edit one to the beginning of the episode. I don't know. We mention
the existence.
I guess we don't need to.
There's a lot of triggers. We're so sorry.
We're so sorry to anyone if that triggered anyone.
We did our best,
but it's still like
it just came to my head.
I mean,
wasn't he shitty? Hoping that I was wrong.
No, you're correct. But I mean, it still is like an influence on. It still shaped my sense of humor and stuff.
What about the Beavis and Butthead person?
No.
Okay.
Mike Judge isn't an asshole.
Oh, that was Mike Judge?
Yeah. I mean, he might be an asshole, but he's not like a creep.
Cool.
No, that was Mike Judge, who also did King of the Hill, Office Space.
King of the Hill. I loved Office Space.
Yeah, like he did lots of stuff. No, but that was Mike Judge.
Okay, cool.
Who also did the Spike and Mike Twisted Animation Festival, where he would just show weird animation.
That was so cool.
So yeah, no, Mike Judge seems to just be great. And then our other question was how we should handle being haunted by a vengeful ghost.
Which Keith answered for us.
He said, burn all your white sheets. It is only then that they can reveal their true colors, and it will be the most beautiful rainbow you've ever seen in your whole fucking life.
So we did burn all of our white sheets. We did it in the Raccoon and Spider Sanctuary on our block, which is a burnt out house. That is now a sanctuary, which is why humans aren't allowed to live there.
Honestly, it ruined Double Complete Rainbow for me.
Really?
Because this was just so much more glorious than even a double rainbow.
That's true. I've actually been colorblind since that moment because those colors were so incredible and dazzling.
Yeah, no, it's all been guesswork for me since then. It's just like, I think that's green? Oh.
I might not even be colorblind. It may just be that all colors are so dull compared to the colors that we saw.
Yeah.
And we have a bonus.
We have 3 bonuses.
We have 3 whole bonuses for you at this pre-New Year's episode.
This is our New Year's gift to you.
3 bonuses.
The first one is that you should check out when Keith was on after TCGS, which was Uncle B's old show on YouTube, where he talks to people from the TCGS world, including guests and cast members. And just go check it out. It's a real fun episode.
We also have Keith and Bethany on Hopefully We Don't Break Up.
Which is a podcast.
It's a podcast that someone else runs. It's not like their podcast.
No, it's not theirs. It's Julia Rossi and Will Miles, who wrote for the Chris Gethard show.
Did they break up?
Who?
Are they still together? Julia Rossi and...
I mean, it's their podcast.
But is it still up?
Yeah.
It's still going? So they presumably didn't break up.
I mean,
I was listening to this podcast, I still am, called The Mormon and the Meth Head. And it's about like this couple, and then like they ended the podcast because they're not together anymore. And so I'm a little bit like,
Will Miles,
my favorite couple's all going to break up and then their podcasts will be over. Listen to The Mormon and the Meth Head. It's really good.
I don't know. I think it's still going.
Okay. And then the third bonus, which is almost just like specifically for Planet Scum, the Dear Discord.
Okay, they got engaged on the last episode. They went on hiatus after March 7th, but on that episode, they also talked about being engaged. So I think they just retired to doing the podcast. And they're like, well, episode 100 is a good time to stop.
That's fair. That's very fair. So yeah, that's the very last thing that we have is directly almost at Planet Scum, and that is a tweet. When did this tweet happen?
This tweet, sorry for that pop, happened on April 3rd, 2016, where Keith Haskel said 3 words that will please Planet Scum very much. And those words are, Weezer still rules.
It does still rule.
Yeah.
They played Island in the Sun at their wedding.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's one of the songs like that is played in the subway and they dance around joyfully. It was also one of the theme songs for my 8th grade outdoor ed trip.
Really?
Yep.
Weezer didn't really factor into any of my trips.
Yeah, mine did because I went to a private school, and so one of the teachers was also a video editor and taught us media literacy.
Well, no. Okay, things factored in. It just wasn't that song.
Oh. What sort of things? Were they slugs?
No.
That go into your brains, and so you had to turn into a bear?
No,
and fight them in the woods?
I didn't get one of those slugs until I went to UC Santa Cruz. And it was a bright yellow banana slug.
And he taught you how to meditate?
Yeah. That's how I learned it. All from him. All from you, Sammy. Sammy the Slug. No, I think that... It wasn't official, though. So actually, I take it back. No music. My trips never had official music. None of my school trips had official soundtracks.
I feel sorry for you.
You should. It's really... I missed out.
So those are our 15 things from Keith Haskel's social media that we loved.
Yes.
This is I think that this is a great little post-Christmas, pre-New Year's.
Yeah.
Nugget.
Fetch would be a great way to start off 2020.
A nuglet.
A nuglet?
A nugget. A little nugget. A nuglet.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this episode. I'm really excited
too.
for Fetch. Something fun that's been happening on the pre-show.
Oh, yeah.
On the Discord, CGP, there is a pre-show. It is a voice call that is made in the Discord, hosted by Purple Hat, the People's Champion.
And Miel.
Molly, she's amazing. And they've been doing Fetch. So
yes.
We've been told to fetch things, for example, a toothbrush with toothpaste on it, a tablespoon of sugar. And the idea is that you run and you take a picture of it and you put it on the Discord, and it is great fun.
It's wonderful. And then also, they've been talking about how Purple Hat is going to do a fetch given to him by Uncle B in New York pre this episode. That's going to be I think it's an hour-long pre-show, and he'll have an hour to go find something that Bryson requests.
Oh, I fucking love that.
And apparently Keith is even down to give a clue.
Ooh.
So Keith may get to put the shoe on the other foot.
Yeah.
This time and be the fetch orderer instead of the fetcher.
I'm so excited
for that. It's a really fun way that we've been adapting a lot of the things that these creators are making for us to have a fun, bonding, social experience across miles of land and water and sea.
On Christmas Day, we played Quee for Beef.
Quee for Beef.
Which was a riff on Catch or Snatch, which was Shannon's wonderful game.
In the, second episode? Third episode? Sixth episode. The last small studio of TCGS, in which she showed a close-up picture of either a vagina or a fish. And the callers had to decide which it was.
And then also, often when there's an episode that isn't live, because Fetch is pre-recorded, often when that happens, Gethard is on the Twitch and sometimes comes on our post show on the Discord. So check both out this Wednesday.
Yeah, we might get a special appearance. It is New Year's Day.
That's a good point. Maybe not.
So I do hope that they sleep. And I also...
Actually, I take it back. We probably won't. You should still check it out, but we may not. But who knows? Who knows what'll happen?
I do hope that they... Let's start the show. I do hope that they spend time with their families and their small children. I do hope that Bethany's doing well.
She is.
That's what I loved about this particular project, is we got to see so much more of Bethany just because it was like more in Keith's actual life. I want a Bethany episode.
No, I would love a Bethany episode, but Bethany's doing great. She was the comedian in residence at a university.
Oh, shit.
Which university was that? At American University, where she worked to make comedy for social change with the Center for Media and Social Impact.
Oh my God, that's so cool. That's like what Leah Bonema's into.
Yeah, that's very Leah Bonema. And then she's coming to San Francisco in January for Sketchfest.
What? Oh yeah, she's going to be part of the TCGS retrospective. And
there they mentioned that she works as creative director of comedy initiatives at the Center for Media and Social Impact, which sounds like it's the same thing. She's phrased it differently. I thought it was a different position. But so she's currently the comedian in residence then. And
she also, it makes a lot of sense, what with her like social media guruing for TCGS. She's so cool.
And then she also co-created the series Thanksgiving, starring Amy Sedaris and Chris Elliott. So
what the fuck?
Yeah, that was a Go 90 show.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, Bethany's doing great.
Why have I not? I'm sorry.
We didn't have Go 90.
I low-key worship Amy Sedaris. I've loved her since we had to read David Sedaris's short stories for school. And he described his older sister, and I'm like, damn, she's a badass. I like her.
I know who she was before I read those because of her appearances on Letterman. So when I got to the parts, and when Strangers with Candy. So when I got to the parts where he describes her, I was just like, this is perfect. This is amazing.
I love her. At one point in one of his stories, like she was working in fast food or whatever as like a teenager. And one of her coworkers was a prostitute on the side, I suppose. And so on like a Christmas day, she just grabs David and she's like, we got to go get my friend. They drive over to like a pimp house, pull this woman out of the house where she had been being beat up by like her pimp. Like the woman had called Amy and put her in the car and drove her home. Drove her back to their house where they gave her cocoa and like didn't tell their father that she was there because she's just like, fuck this, I am fixing this. So that's my moment of loving Amy Sedaris in our episode about Keith Haskel.
And I just want to note that you should buy tickets to see Bethany, Gethard, the rest of the TCGS crew.
Is Murph going to be there?
No. Connor, it'll be Bethany, Chris, Connor, David Bloveband, Phil Jackson, and Riley Soliner.
Woo!
So that's going to be in San Francisco on January 24th. So come check it out.
And if you're going to be here, tell us.
Oh, yeah.
Find us on the Discord. I'm Emily Pineapple there.
And I'm Forrest, the keeper of the canon.
And this has been our episode.
Wait.
Oh.
We have to talk about something.
What? But that was such a good sign out.
I know it was.
It was so perfect.
This is the first CGP pod we've done since your prediction finally came true.
Oh, yeah.
On Pizza Night, there were finally disembodied penises. So that's why we're not doing that
deciding.
Right now.
Yeah, we're not predicting what will happen because it finally came true. On Pizza Night, there was a disembodied human penis created out of balloons and then worn by Sky Baby.
And honestly, the gift of prophecy is just too much for us to bear.
It is. And it was beautiful. And so we're going to take a break from that and instead interrupt our like really natural endings and sign-offs that just like flow real nice. That's what we're going to do instead. We're going to interrupt those and instead do like real awkward endings.
And I'm Forrest, the keeper of the canon.
And I'm Emily Pineapple, saying good night and good clon to 2019. We love all of you little scummies on Planet Scum. We hope that we can get on Elon Musk's rocket ship and actually go create a new planet for ourselves.
Hello, 2020, you drunk baby.
Kathleen, you said you wanted to document this moment. Why?
Trying to remember how awful it is.
This is one of the worst sounds I've ever heard in my life, and I feel terrible and there's nothing I can do.